how difficult do you predict the first meeting between Presidents Biden and Erdogan to be in the coming days?
Well, despite a range of pretty deep disagreements between the U.S. and Turkey, I actually don't expect this first presidential meeting to see any fireworks. I think there's a desire on the Turkish side, certainly, to try to turn the page with the United States. Erdogan's coming to this meeting in a deeply vulnerable position on the economic front and politically at home. And from the Biden administration, I think there's a desire to just sort of manage things along with Turkey. Certainly not make concessions or, a big effort to patch things up, but an effort to just cooperate on the few issues where there's alignment and manage the tensions on these other big disagreements between the two countries.
One key issue that is at stake is the S-400. And just today, President Erdogan declared that Turkey is not backing down in any front. So do the United States intend to make any concessions in this front?
I don't expect any concessions from the United States on the S-400. The position of the Biden administration is quite clear, and the U.S. Congress has passed a law and is all over this issue that really ties the president's hand in any case. And so, the law states that the sanctions will remain as long as Turkey possesses the system. There have been a number of compromises discussed. There are rumors of more private compromise under consideration. But I think that really Turkey has made its bed. Erdogan politically would find it difficult to back down. He's very vulnerable to Putin in Syria. And economically. And so I don't really think that we'll see a big development on the S-400.
However, without an alignment in the S-400 front, how can there be an amelioration in the U.S.-Turkey relation?
Well, if they do activate the system, that will certainly elevate tensions. And if they buy a second system, that would lead to further sanctions. But I think the U.S. feels that with the ejection of Turkey from the F-35 program and the imposition of limited cuts of sanctions, that's sort of a reasonable response to Turkey's actions. But, broadly, I think what we see now is kind of the new normal of U.S.-Turkey relations. The fact is Erdogan has pursued this very independent, assertive course, doesn't see Turkey as a sort of a component part of a Western security architecture, but as a power in its own right. And the U.S. is slowly coming to terms with that and trying to just manage relations with what is now an aggressive regional power that happens to be a NATO member. And that brings a whole host of challenges, particularly vis-a-vis Russia.
Yes. In this framework you just mentioned, will the East Med be part of this first discussion between the two presidents?
Well, they're scheduled for a half an hour, and with simultaneous translation, it will be a packed meeting because they have to talk about Syria, S-400, the Eastern Med, Libya, Nagorno-Karabakh. But yes, I expect that President Biden will mention this issue and, reiterate the U.S.'s desire to see tensions lowered and to see the negotiations and the de-escalation within a NATO framework move forward. And, I think that Erdogan will probably heed that word for the time being. It's possible he re-escalate things in the run-up to his re-election campaign next year or the year thereafter. But for now, it seems he wants to keep things on an even keel to try to protect Turkey's really battered economy.